Greetings and salutations. I would like to welcome everybody back and some of you for the first time to the Full Sports Press Podcast, the premier sports podcast for the consummate sports fan. And this is your one-stop shop for all sports-related news and topics. I am J-Ho.
It's your boy, Big Jeff.
Weezy is out on assignment. Shout out to Weezy. Coach Lock back in the building. Say what's up, Cat.
What's happening, man? We back with another one for sure. Unfortunately, we still zooming it up.
Still zooming.
You know?
Yeah.
But
soon, my brother, soon.
Soon, my brother.
I saw on the FSP page, the studio in color. I said, man, I got to get in there, man. We got to get back in there for sure. Most definitely. Yeah, guys, episode 322. We're talking the good, bad, and everything in between as far as the return of the 2020 NBA season.
FSP style.
Always FSP style.
Better damn know
it. Damn. Who's close?
Who's close? We was almost there.
It was almost there. It's impossible. Best of the week, Jeff. What you got?
The New Day, the wrestling tag team, the New Day, kneeling and putting the Black Power fist up in the middle of a wrestling match. That doesn't happen a lot in wrestling, but you see the turn with a lot of wrestlers being empowered. African American wrestlers are making a lot of movement in the WWE that normally doesn't happen. So that was different to see. That was dope to see. Shout out to the New Day.
There we go, for sure. What you got, Locke?
Man, seeing all the people celebrate and push Juneteenth like they are, man. You know, in the past, you know, some people talk about Juneteenth, you know, you hear it mentioned there, but this year you seeing everybody, it seems like, push it and talk about it, which is good because we need to know the history. Our kids or our nieces, nephews, all the younger generation, they need to know the history of that. So it's good to see people pushing it because if they see it, they're going to ask, what is Juneteenth? If they hadn't already known. So just to see everybody push Juneteenth and it's being talked about more this year than I have ever seen in the past.
For sure, man. For sure. When was the first time you guys heard about Juneteenth?
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I was at TSU. I didn't hear none through metro schools, none of that.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
My first time hearing it was at TSU as well. That's crazy.
I went to a all-black middle school, so
there we go.
They kind of
brought it up.
Yeah, sound to St. Vincent, man. St. Vincent. St. Vincent de Paul.
St. Vincent de
I'll
Paul.
tell you what, we wasn't talking about it right middle school with Juneteenth. That wasn't happening.
Hell no, not at all. Best of the week for me, man, is our Madden League, man. All of us are involved in. It's just what it's done is give us a break away from the stressors that we're dealing with every day as far as everything that's going on. Got Locke involved in it in this last season. So just good to have everybody doing that, man. It's fun. It's very, very competitive. And I'm telling you what, if you ain't on your A game, you'll lose 100%, as we've seen a couple of times. So, the playoffs have started. So more than anything, man, it's just cool. And I appreciate everybody playing, man, having a good time with that, for sure.
Glad I finally joined because I was
see, and
you real close.
You're having a good time.
Not making it.
For real. You're having a good time.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that off air.
Here we go.
Because didn't have a lot of user games, which is good for the boy because I needed to get all the reps.
Who talk about user?
Yeah, Jeff had like 6 user games.
I had a gauntlet.
Yeah, but Jeff also did. I also had a lot of user games.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Worst of the week, Jeff. What you got?
Man, old 45 has started to walk back his Kaepernick stance when asked about if Kaepernick if he were to be signed and would he kneel again. 45 was quoted as saying if he's talented enough, he should play again. Where was all this at 4 years ago? Where was this at 4 years ago? Like, that's all I got to say. Just where was this at 4 years ago? 100%. Now the man's out of the league 4 years. I don't want to see Cap in the league right now because if he doesn't perform well, which he probably won't because he hasn't played in 4 years, they're going to say it's his talent. And we all know what really happened. So
yeah, he's fighting an uphill battle for sure.
They're going to say, see, we told you so. That's why he wasn't in the league.
Most definitely. Locke, what you got? Worst of the week.
Man, back in Texas, man, they just announced that they are gonna go back to school at regular time in the school buildings, which okay, cool, whatever. But what I don't like is they are not going to require the kids to have their temperature taken before coming in the building, and they're not gonna be required to wear masks. So it's like, so we just gonna let kids come in here and not know what's going on?
Nah,
I need some. Nah,
they gonna fix that.
the governor already said it.
Something
I'm
to
like,
that.
man, that's yeah, that ain't it. Listen,
Hey,
I'm being able to mass teaching.
Texas and Florida are different. Like Texas and Florida different right
Man,
now. Like they
man,
don't care.
they are whatever. They about to
Oof.
lock Houston back down. It's so bad.
It's rough, man. Be safe in Houston, man. Shout out to our Houston listeners. My worst of the week is the Carolina Panthers. You post something on Twitter, said, who's the GOAT between Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith, and Julius Peppers? And you purposely leave out Cam Newton, who's the best player in franchise history. Just distasteful, just tone deaf to the fact of what this dude did for that organization. Just stay classy, Carolina. Stay classy, man.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta have Cam on there, man. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand. Kuechly's supposed to be on there too. That's a
sure.
good one. You know, Cam has to be on there, and then you can pick between Steve Smith and who was the other one? I forgot.
Julius
I remember.
Peppers.
Yeah, you can pick, or just put all four of them on there. That's
Just
fine.
put four. Just put four.
Just put all four of them on there. You
Yeah,
know,
just
they
put all
all
four.
greats. They all did their thing, but you cannot talk about the Carolina Panthers and not mention Cam Newton if you're talking about great Panthers.
100%, man. That shit's trash. Stat of the week. Shout out to Bryce for this find. He's talking baseball this week. During his 24-year Major League Baseball career, Jamie Moyer had pitched to more than 8% of all hitters in Major League Baseball history. Insane. And he also pitched a shutout in 4 different decades. So shout out to Jamie Moyer. Keep
Man,
getting them
that's
checks.
tough.
Yeah, that's tough. That's hard to do.
40 years?
Yeah, they're saying the longest tenured player in baseball was Nolan Ryan with 27 years. So, yeah, keep it.
Nolan Ryan was about their life too. Run up on Nolan Ryan on
Yeah, not for sure.
that hill if you want to.
Put the pause to you real quick. So shout out to Bryce, man. Keeping them coming. Keeping them coming, Bryce.
For sure, Bryce. Now make sure you check us out on iTunes, Facebook, IG, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Beyond Pod, YouTube, and of course the SoundCloud page to catch up on the full archive of past episodes of FSP. How do you do that? Just search Full Sport Press Podcast. When you get through doing that, make sure you check out the On Deck TV Hip Hop Podcast with Animal Brown and Spike Lee every Wednesday. The latest issue is up, the 2020 winners and losers so far episodes. Y'all make sure y'all go and check that out and see who they got picked in 2020 as winners and losers so far.
Sure, man. Shout out to the winners. Shout out to the losers. See my boy Starlito back in the building. Great comeback. Yeah, nah,
great
for sure.
song.
Good to
I
see
like
that.
the video too. You
Yeah,
know,
the video's tough.
It's not a lot, but it's a lot.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
I like that. Shout out to Lito.
Shout out to my guy. Fresher Than Your Average podcast. Feature myself and my dog Animal Brown. Self-help fashion podcast directly related to improving everyday fashion. We have an FTYA IG live show featuring ourselves. FTYA Fridays are here. Check us out on the iTunes page, not on the iTunes page, on the Instagram page right now, directly for the culture. Wear your kicks, man. Cop responsible. Jeff.
So is that going to be a recurring Friday thing now for y'all?
Man, we're trying to figure it out. Maybe, it may be every other Friday for sure.
But it's going to be a Friday. I like that.
Fridays, man.
Fresher Than Your Average Fridays.
Yeah, dog.
I like that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that a lot. Jeff, you got 10 good wrestling seconds.
Yes, sir.
Let's start the clock.
All right. So backlash was last week. So we got who gets the W results. So first we had Randy Orton versus Edge. Weezy jumped out there and said Edge. The rest of us had RKO, the RKO winner, Randy Orton. Randy Orton got the W. Next, we had Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match. Jay, for some reason, picked The Miz and John Morrison. Braun got the quick work done. So, yeah, shout out to the rest of everybody else. We had Oscar versus Nia Jax. J-Ho had a rough week. He picked Nia Jax. And Oscar won. It was a good match, though. Very good match. And lastly, we had Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Jay also picked Bobby Lashley. I did too as well.
I was about to say, Jeff, you did too.
Yeah, and Drew McIntyre won in what was a great match. But I think Locke didn't miss one. Locke got the W this week. So shout out to Coach Locke.
100%, baby. 100%, baby.
That's safe pick Locke.
Oh, here you go. Listen. When you trying to win, you gonna go with the picks you think gonna win. How is it safe pick? I haven't watched wrestling and I don't know when.
Safe.
I can't even tell you what Oscar looked like. I have no clue.
Shout out to Oscar.
Man, safe pick, Locke picking ass, man. Now tweet us with questions throughout the week at Full Sport Press. Don't forget to comment, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the YouTube page, on the iTunes page. Please rate and subscribe. But more importantly, don't forget to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
That the revolution will be podcasted. And before we get started with the first half, Jeff, do you have a yellow box of Cheerios award recipient for the listeners?
J-Ho, yes, I do. We're going to go with all the airline companies.
Damn right, for sure. Airlines including EasyJet, KLM in Europe, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines in the U.S., and Asia's Virgin Australia are suspending all or part of their alcoholic drink services in response to COVID-19. It's part of a widespread revision of the industry's food and drink services to minimize interaction between crew and passengers and to ensure a safe journey for all. Many airlines are limiting drink options to water only, as face masks must be kept on. The passengers are eating or drinking. It's a way of ensuring passengers are lingering over their refreshments for no longer than necessary. Word to the wise, got to bring those personals.
Man,
Got
listen.
to bring them personals.
Can you imagine being on a 10, 11-hour flight and all they giving you is water?
I don't even want to be on a 10, 11-hour flight.
Period.
Let alone, period.
Man, hey, listen, man. You got to get that passport going. You know, that passport is gonna require
Talk to
team.
me, Locke.
You got to get them stamps.
We'll be in place, Locke.
Look at Locke. Like said, stamp them up, huh? Locke said, stamp them up. But yeah, now get those personals ready, man. I think you could carry up to maybe 6 ounces or something like that in your personals.
So that's 2, because each one has to be 3 ounces. Each whatever it is. So you can only carry 2?
2.
Oh, they gonna have to up that. They got to up that.
No.
They got to up that. What that is gonna mean though is that the stores and the food places in the airport about to see a surge.
People gonna get lit before they get in there.
Man, them bars gonna be shaking with people drinking.
Quaking, for sure.
Man.
Yeah, man. Once Weezy gets back from assignment, we'll get that out to the airline companies that's slacking and lacking, for sure. You guys ready to get started the first half?
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
The first half is underway.
First half, the hottest sports news of the past week, like we do each and every week here at the Full Sport Press Podcast. Before we get started, I am Jay Ho.
It's your boy, Big Jeff.
It's your man, Coach Locke.
Locke, where can they find you on social media, my brother?
Man, same as always, Locke_the_great. That's THA on Twitter and IG.
That's a fact. It sure is. Jeff, where can they find you, my brother?
JEasley84 across all social media platforms.
Most definitely. It's your boy J Hove on Instagram and Twitter. Find me on Twitter to have a conversation. And last but not least, it's youtube.com/fullsportpresspodcast. Man, hey, link in with us. We got that big boy giveaway coming soon. As soon as Jeff kind of figure out how we're going to do it, we finna get it going. I'll put it on Jeff.
I got an idea for it, I think. I got an idea how we can do it. Yeah. I think I got an idea. We'll talk about it next meeting.
Most definitely. Mike Gundy, man. We'll kick things off with Mike Gundy. Is this your boy Locke?
Don't you do that.
What?
Don't you do that. We're not gonna do that. Okay, we're not gonna start the show off. We're not gonna start the show off.
I can't put Gundy on your team.
Nah, hell no. I am a man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of your favorites.
No. That don't mean that's my guy. That's everybody quote. Everybody like that quote.
Mike Gundy has come under fire recently after a photo posted to social media showed the Cowboys coach. When I say Cowboys, Oklahoma State Cowboys, coach, wearing a T-shirt from OAN. OAN, One America Network. The photo prompted a strong response from Chuba Hubbard, who called out Gundy on his own social media. Gundy has since apologized for the pain and discomfort, end quote, he causes players and others while wearing the shirt. OAN is a far-right news network often cited by President Donald Trump that has tried to position itself as a place for a pro-Trump audience and recently criticized the Black Lives Matter movement. To add insult to injury, Alfred Williams, a former star linebacker at Colorado, wants an apology from Mike Gundy after renewing an allegation that the Oklahoma State coach called him the N-word while he was playing in 1989 as a quarterback for the Cowboys. And Williams is 51, was one of multiple Colorado players who said in 1989 that Gundy used the racial slur during the Buffalo's 41-17 victory over the Cowboys. Gundy denied the allegations after the game and hadn't spoken on them since. Should Mike Gundy be fired?
I'm not gonna say he should be fired, but something needs to be done because at the end of the day, it's gonna be a he say versus he say situation. Am I saying I don't believe the player? No, I definitely believe Mike did it. Especially you talking about 1989. Come on, man. I definitely believe he said it. Chuba Hubbard has come out and said that he wishes he would have handled his situation differently, that he would have just gone to Gundy one-on-one and not took it to social media. But I think it was good he went to social media so it can shine the light on it so he can see what's going on and that people are starting to know, and we're not going to go for that. So I don't think Chuba should have gone to him one-on-one. I like the way he did it. Now, if he wanted to go to him personally before and say that and then go to social media, that's fine. But it needed to be put out there that he did that. But I don't think that's grounds enough to be fired because it's going to be a he say versus thing, which I still believe he did it. Don't get it wrong. I believe he did it, though.
Man, this whole situation with Mike Gundy is like he's just tone deaf. Like to wear that shirt that he wore and not know exactly, what that news network stands for. Then to say that news network, he likes it because that news network doesn't take any sides. He's like, okay, did you not listen to what you? All right, whatever. Then the allegations from '89, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he did say it, but it's just it's a weird thing. And then the video with him and the Oklahoma State players, Howard, Chuba, excuse me, he didn't even apologize. The player apologized, but he didn't. So it's just something just to watch stuff like that, man. It's like you come out, saying stuff don't change, blah, 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 blah. But you didn't apologize. Your player had to apologize for coming at you like that. And it's your best player, not one of your sideline players, not your best player on your team. Yeah, he looking funny in the light, man. Real funny.
Your best player on your team, who is black, had to come out and apologize, and you didn't apologize. The wrong person apologized, Jeff. You're 100% correct. I think Chuba was just expressing his frustration with his head coach in the middle of a national, international crisis. Like, he should not have worn that shirt. And I've read about it enough. And as a commentator of sports, we see a lot of this. And for him to come out with the majority of your players on the Oklahoma State football team is black, I can understand the frustration, man. And what I don't understand is how he's continued to skate past stuff. This isn't his first time being under allegation. This isn't first rodeo at all. So I think, to save the humility and the things that's going on good for that Oklahoma University, man, they got to figure out a way to get rid of him because now he's in hot water. He can't do anything. He literally is on probation. He can't literally say or do anything. And in turn, it's only going to mess up the entire school as far as the football team is going on. So I think he should 100% be at least suspended or to a point of where he's on disciplinary action for sure.
I definitely agree with the suspension thing. Like maybe, he can't lose some scholarships or, something. I definitely agree with that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, these players come out, man, get their blood, sweat, and tears every Saturday playing for you and that university, man. And you got to stand up for those kids. And I don't think the university is doing that as of right now, for sure.
You know what though? Think about it. If taking the scholarships away is not only gonna hurt him, but it's gonna hurt the players too. Now I think about it. So I don't know if I would take scholarships. I think when coaches are doing something like this, you should be able to fine them or something. Like you should be able to go in their pockets and maybe take their bonus from that year. Because they have those contracts set up where if they win the Big 12 or if they make it to a certain bowl game, they get bonuses. So if something like this happens with a coach, I think you should be able to just take their bonus away. And that's when you hurt people. That's when they really feel it, is when it's in their pockets.
100%, coach.
All right, guys. So let's move on to Major League Baseball. We don't talk about that a lot on here. Anyway, so Major League Baseball higher ups and players are back at odds again this week. So following a 4-hour negotiation in Phoenix between the leaders on Tuesday, MLB emerged believing they had the framework for a new deal where they will play a 60-game schedule, and players will be a prorated salary for the year, and everything will be fine. Well, players got a hold of that and decided, you know what, 60 games is too short, and we want more money. Is this MLB season going to happen?
It's going to have to. I mean, I think it'll be like everything that you said, there's going to be some changes, but they got to do something, man. Because if they don't, baseball is done, man. They'll be done. They will be done. And this is the oldest major professional sport that we have in the United States. They got to find a way to do this, make some modifications, and accept a little bit of the changes because they're stuck in their ways. And in turn, I know a lot of the purists, the baseball purists, don't want to make these changes. And, they're mad about small stuff like the universal DH. When me and Locke been playing MLB The Show, we got to find a way to keep it in team with the DH. We got to find a way. And they got to find a way, man, because I know these games are boring. They got to mic these players up. They got to do something to kind of bring generation that don't pay attention to baseball into baseball. And I think that they'll find a way to do that. And this is the year to test.
I agree with everything you said, except I don't think they're going to play. Think about it. World Series is normally October. We're already basically July. The owners don't want to pay these boys. They don't want to get them the money that the players want and deserve. So I think they're just going to keep going back and forth. And the owners are going to say one thing, the players are going to say one thing, and the players are not going to accept it. You're going to talk, because now you talk about they haven't done any training. They're going to have to figure out a way to have that time to get training in like the NBA is going to do, which we'll talk about that later. But they can't expect these boys just to come right in and start playing baseball, and they haven't even had training camps. Now, I'm sure the players are doing things on their own, but they haven't had their real spring games or any of that. So I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see a baseball season this year at all in the MLB.
My thing is this. You can tell baseball is, like Jay said, stuck in their ways. They don't have enough young people around young-minded people to think, here's an opportunity for us to grow our league. If we come out and do some cool stuff when no one is doing anything else, we have a chance to regain some footing that we've lost that we haven't had a chance to get back in years, almost a decade now. You have young, cool players that can come around and make a statement or make plays or be, like Jay said, mic'd up or stuff like that. Sometimes them owners might have to come out their pocketbook a little bit, pay their salaries, and invest in this league to try to build it back up. Because if you put somebody out there now, this is the most socially distant sport that we have. So if you put people out there now and let them play, you have a chance to regain your audience that you would never get back if you don't play at all.
Take advantage, man. Take advantage.
So speaking of letting them play, HBO has announced there will be 2 teams for the hit show Hard Knocks this year. Now, this is the first time in show history that will feature 2 teams. Who are those 2 teams, you ask? Both teams in LA, the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, it's a 5-episode series, as always, which will air August 11th, each Tuesday at 10 p.m. through September the 8th. Now, with this, I don't personally like the 2 teams for 1 episode because, You're not extending the episode. Each episode is only a 55-minute show. So now you're taking away the in-depth of one team because you have to take time to go talk to the other team and show the things they're doing. So you're basically going to say you're doing 22 and a half minutes on each team if you want to split it down the middle, which they might not do that. They might focus on one team a little more in one episode. The next episode focus on the other team more, but still show them both. But I don't like the fact that they're doing two teams because I think it's going to take away from the in-depthness of the team. And, you talk about, does the show really help teams as far as what they do in the playoffs? Well, 13 teams have done the show, with the Cowboys and the Bengals doing it twice. And out of those, 6 finished the season with winning records and 5 made the playoffs, with the Jets going the furthest, losing to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game.
Well, no team with championship aspirations want to give someone that much access because they want you to see what they got going on. So I can see why teams who are predicted to go far don't really want to take this opportunity. I will say this, and I'll make it short. This gets a lot more interesting in the Cap signs with the Chargers. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and the thing is with these two teams, it's not like they have to go too far. They're both based in LA. So the advantage of having both of them is the point where, okay, you'll see one coach he does things this way. The other coach does things totally different. So you can kind of compare and contrast. And of course, I'm telling you what they're going to spin this with. One's a black coach, one's a white coach. One is a coach that, is looked at as the golden boy, per se. And Anthony Lynn is the coach that's looked at as, get it out of the mud type of coach. So I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to see everything. I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor, though, because he's in another situation where he was with Baker Mayfield. He's, just keeping the seat warm until the quarterback gets ready to go. So to be yanked again, man, poor Tyrod. But it will be cool to see Anthony Lynn, and also if Cap signs with the Chargers, which I think he'll ultimately sign with the Steelers. Sean McVay, though, we on your ass, Sean McVay. McVay, watch yourself. You better win. People talking about you the best football mind in all of football, the youngest, making them look like Doogie Howser. Now, ain't no damn Doogie Howser. You expose your ass. So you better win some games this year for sure. But I know there's going to be a racial divide between this white coach who's the heir apparent to Lombardi, and then you have Anthony Lynn, who we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I'm going to shut up now.
They're going to try their best, though, to not make that happen, especially with everything that's going on. They're going to try their best not to make it look racial, for sure. They're going to try their best not to. They ain't got no choice,
though, Coach. They ain't got no choice.
On that note, let's keep it in football. Ravens quarterback and reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson was revealed as the cover athlete for Madden NFL 21 this week. Here's what the Madden people had to say. With style and swag uniquely his own, oh boy, reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson dazzles on the new Madden NFL 21 cover as he does against his opposition each and every game day. Shout out to EA Sports for that. Anyway, this is a big deal, guys. The Madden curse still available. It's still out there.
Oh, yeah. That Madden curse is still available, man. Out of 21 games. Dude, we've been having Madden curses since 2001. That's nuts. But out of 21 games, we've had 13 curses, guys. This gives Lamar a 62% chance of being cursed. If we're considering only quarterbacks who've been on the cover, the chance drops to 50%. It is very, very important that we would count, like, how do we quantify what is a curse for Lamar Jackson? Because what he did last year, as we saw with Patrick Mahomes, you have to fall off. There's going to be more film. There's going to be a situation as to why you can't come back the next year and do the exact same thing. So I think that he came from a situation where he was looked at as a poor passer, totaling to almost, 40 passing touchdowns on only 6 picks. So, and still having 1,000 yards rushing. So unless he's some type of football savant, that he can come out and do it one more time, it's almost impossible for him to keep up that same level of play. I think he'll be fine, though, because Baltimore is loaded, and they'll be fine on offense and defense.
Well, like you say, he might have a drop off. The quantified curse would to me would just be that he just flat out gets hurt, and that he's not a all-star basically. He's not all pro. If he's not all pro, then that could be looked at as, not being a curse. But if you think about it, I think the curse is starting to lose a little of its gas because just in the last 10 years, like you said, as many people haven't gotten hurt or been cursed. Now, from 99 to 2009 is when it really was going. 9 of the 10 cover athletes got hurt. Now, for the last 10 years, only 5.5 of them have gotten hurt. And that's 5.5 because Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald were on the cover together. And Polamalu got hurt, but Larry Fitzgerald didn't get hurt. So I think that it won't be cursed on him. I think he'll be fine. Now, of all the people for it to happen to, it easily happened to him because he likes to run so much. But I think he's smart enough to know when to go down or when he can get those extra yards. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not going to get cursed.
Here's the thing, though, Coach. You're talking about injuries. Antonio Brown 2 years ago was a cover man. And Antonio Brown might not play in the NFL this year. He was, hey, listen, man, a man curse is real, is what I'm saying.
Well, he was in at 5.5.
I'll say this. You said there was a fall off by Patrick Mahomes. I think Lamar Jackson will take that fall off from MVP to Super Bowl MVP any day of the week. He'll take that fall off. He'll take that fall off.
All I'm saying is, hey, to be AB then, you got to be AB now.
But to be Pat Mahomes then.
Pat Mahomes got hurt, y'all. Pat Mahomes got hurt, y'all.
Yeah, he did. Hey. He missed 4 games, and he also won Super Bowl MVP against
barely.
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 See, 2/3 of this podcast favorite team, he won the Super Bowl.
Hold on now. See, hold on now. Relax. We didn't have to do all that. We didn't have to bring that up.
I will be real, like you caught it straight. That was more at home. That was more at Jay.
Thank you. Okay. I just caught it straight, huh? Okay.
You just caught it straight.
Okay. That go for me, Lock. Shit.
Hey man. I told him. I said.
Hey, you take up every time Jeff come up with something. Tell him about that Florida State, man. Tell him, Jeff. Told him, bro. Dude,
hey, I started off initially. I said, hold on, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about these 49ers in this game. That was what I led with.
Have my back, man.
I got your back, brother.
We got a rack. There we go. You guys ready to get started with halftime?
Let's do it.
We're at the midway point. Enjoy all of the halftime festivities.
Halftime, man. In case you missed it, I know you guys are going to love this. Former second-round quarterback Christian Hackenburg couldn't find success in professional football. In fact, the quarterback never made it into an NFL game. Hackenburg is looking at the beginning of his new story. That's because he's taking a page out of Tim Tebow's life manual and trying a career in baseball. Hackenburg, who was last seen in 2019 playing in the now defunct AAF, hasn't played baseball since he was in high school. According to Max Preps, Hackenburg was a decent hitter, batting .378, .459, .716, over 47 games in 3 years in high school. However, Hackenburg is trying to become a pitcher, and those high school stats are much bleaker. He made 16 appearances with 2 starts and pitched to a 7.36 ERA. He struck out 33 batters but walked 40. He has been training with Rutgers Camden baseball coach Rob Kulick, a former minor league pitcher who owns a backyard pitching facility in Vineland, New Jersey. Has Hackenberg's fastball reportedly tops out at 90 miles per hour. Can Christian Hackenberg pull this off?
Is he content being a double-A pitcher or something? Because 90 for a fastball in the major league?
Don't get rocked.
Here's the thing, though, is you can, get in, and I've seen people get in the gym, bro. You didn't let me finish. God damn. No, but with the right coaching, months of video study, pitching design, I think he could get to 95, 97. And here's the thing, dude. He's only 25 years old, y'all.
That's helping. That's helping. The age is helping. He still got time to adjust his body back to a baseball type of body. But Locke is right. Double A, single A, whatever. but Triple A is the goal at this point. Triple A is definitely the goal.
Here's the thing with Hack, man. As a senior in high school, he was the
wait,
top-ranked quarterback.
wait. That's your man.
That's not my
That's your man, Jay. Hackenburg is your man.
No, I was about to give you facts. As a senior in high school, Hackenburg was the top-ranked quarterback in the country, ahead of pros like Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Nick Mullins, to name a few. He had a really good freshman year at Penn State. Then James Franklin came. Ruined this young man's career, 100%. Ruined this kid. He was supposed to be the number one pick, y'all. If he could have left after his freshman year, he would have been a top 5 pick. I'm telling you.
And then been out of the league in 2 years.
Hey, I'm giving facts.
You'd have been Ryan Leaf 2.0.
Don't you shoot the messenger. Don't you dare shoot the messenger. I'm just here to deliver the facts.
You keep that same energy by not shooting the messenger in this second half.
Hey, I'm just saying. But let's get to it then. Let's get to it.
The second half is underway.
Second half, the 2020 NBA season is back. Before we get started, I am J Ho.
It's your boy Big Jeff.
It's your man, Coach Locke.
Fellas, I know we're all NBA fans. I think Weezy set this one out on purpose because he didn't want to talk about NBA. I get it. I understand it. But we're here, and this is going to be an exciting time for us to talk about the restart of the NBA season. Now more than 3 months removed from the night the NBA suspended the 2019-20 season after Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus, the league has a tentative plan in place to resume play in late July in Orlando. Over the past week, it's faced opposition from its players, including Kyrie Irving. Still a lot of sorts of questions that need to be answered. After months of work, the NBA released its health and safety protocol for the resumption of the 2019-2020 NBA season. Covers the team ramp up over the next several weeks in their home markets, then onboarding everybody to beautiful Disney World in Orlando, and the guidelines for their season will start there. First thing we'll talk about, when will the NBA start playing games in Orlando? Be in July, man. It's scooted up today until July the 30th. So I think if you look at the time frame, I think the last game was close to 80 days, almost 90 if we're counting the day. That is a short time to kind of get going after you've been off for so long. Do you think that will affect anything, the long layoff?
I definitely think.
Go ahead, Coach. Okay. I believe so. It's only so many sprints, so many suicides, so many drills you can run. You can't simulate game speed, and you put these players back out there, the risk of injury can get a little high. So I do think this will, have an effect on the game, this long layoff.
I couldn't have said it better, Jeff. Especially with the older guys. Like, this is not good for your players like LeBron James. He's gone through his career minus major injuries. He's tweaked some hammies and rolled ankles, but hasn't seen any major injuries. And, we know once the body gets older, once you're not doing something for a while, your body doesn't react the same getting back into it. Now, LeBron probably has the best trainers that he has at home, so he's able to keep his body right. So he probably won't see anything happen. But your older players, like your Dwight Howards, people that's been in the league a long time, those kind of things, long layoffs, those are not good for the body at all. But I think they'll probably start playing end of July still, early August. And you're going to see the difference. They're going to have to get the rust off. They're going to do scrimmages, I'm sure, in practice and things like that. But like Jeff said, it's nothing like actual gameplay. You can't simulate that.
100%, Coach. And with the schedule looking like, so June 30th through July the 7th is when you have an in-market training camps, which means all the teams will be in their respective cities training. Then July the 7th through the 11th, the teams travel to Orlando. Then July 9th through the 29th, training camps begin in Orlando. And July 30th through August the 14th, each team will play 8 regular season games. They're trying to keep it as close to the schedule that we have left as much as they can. So once teams are eliminated, after that, that will start the trajectory of the playoffs, which will start with the play-in tournaments August 15th and 16th, and the play-in games will conclude with the playoff beginning in August 17th. That's when the families come in, August the 30th, and then August 31st through September 13th is the conference semis, and September 15th through the 28th is the conference finals, with the NBA finals starting or ending in October the 13th. So the teams that are – go ahead, Coach.
Do you like how they're going to do the play-in games for the 8th and 9th seed? Do you like that? Do you know, for the listeners who don't know, I guess I should say, because everybody might not know, they're going to let the 8th seed in each conference, if necessary, play the 9th seed. And if the 9th seed, they're going to play 2 games. And in order for that 9th seed to get that 8th seed, they have to beat that 8th seed twice. So even if the first game, the 9th seed wins, but the second game, the 8th seed wins, the 8th seed makes it. They have to win both of those games. Do you like how they're doing that?
I do, because it makes it easier to, because you're cutting it down to eight games, generate a playoff race. That's what I'm trying to say. Generate a playoff race. So with that, it gives the opportunity for the teams in 9th and 10th and 11th to still have something to play for. It also gives you that bit of drama for the NBA loves to have and needs. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Left out or a little bit upset because they'll be out of commission for 9 months. But at the same time, man, who the hell wants to see the damn Golden State Warriors play right now? Steph is the only person that'll probably play. Draymond, like, we don't want to see Andrew Wiggins right now. They can set it out. Atlanta, unfortunately, I want to see Vince one more time. Trae Young, seeing him playing again. We'll wait it out to next year. The only thing that's going to hurt is the older players that, they can't get the respectful goodbye like Vince won't be able to have. That's the only thing that sucks.
Yeah, that does. Vince, he had played. That's why he announced a while ago he played his last game, which sucks.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get that curtain call game.
Exactly. Let's move right along to, are players required to go to Orlando? No, to answer that question. If a team determines a player is at higher risk for severe illness from COVID-19, he can be designated as a protected player who does not have to report and will not lose salary. How you guys feel about that?
Smart. Keeping your high risk guys away. Health reason for them and for the rest of your team. That's just help. It's just help. It's just a smart move for them. One of the few smart things the NBA is doing right now.
Wow.
I agree, it's smart.
Go ahead,
for sure. I it's good that they're paying them at least if they're gonna tell them they can't come. Because that would suck that if you did get COVID and they said, well, you can't come, then they told you they wouldn't pay you either. So it's good they're at least paying the guys if they won't be able to make it for that reason. But it's the best thing to do, because if you just let everybody come into the bubble, you take the risk of spreading the virus. And if one person comes up and says they has it, now it's over again, just like that. Cancel it. All the work they did, all the planning they did at Disney will be done like that, just like that. So I think it's the right thing to do.
Here's the thing. And it kind of shows some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the, not necessarily ignorance, but some of the, I'll just say it. Spoiled NBA rich people, dog. Listen, we work 9 to 5s, 100%. I know B. Simone don't like people to working 9 to 5s, but hell, there's people out here that work 9 to 5s. The world is open, dog. You think if I want to be like, well, I don't want to be sick. You think my job cares about that? They're doing the best that they can to prevent people from being sick. And if that turns you can work from home, you can work from home. But you're an NBA player, the rest of the world's open. You think the people at Taco Bell that work up the street at Best Buy, you don't think they want to be at home too? No, but they can't say that. Or you know what? They're going to lose their damn job. NBA players are spoiled. They are, and I get it. I totally understand being safe and all of that, but they're doing the best thing that they can possibly do to keep you safe. That's what they're doing. So in turn, there's nothing else that they can do to keep you safe. If you don't feel comfortable, they literally say you don't have to play. You just won't get paid. So if you make $10 million per year, you'll lose $108,000 per game for missing up to 14 games. If you have season-ending injuries like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, you'll still receive your full pay. But if you're a player that's well able and you just don't feel comfortable going in there because you don't want to risk the rest of your health, you don't want to risk your health, that's totally commendable. Don't go. But don't say that the NBA is trying to kill people and all of this. They're trying the best way that they can to keep everybody from being paid. Here's the thing, man. Just you don't have to go.
I couldn't disagree with you more, but I think we're going to explain it as we go forward in this. I'm not going to take up too much time on this particular topic. Let's just keep it moving because I think we're going to explain this a little bit more as we go through more topics.
I got you. The next thing is, will there be drug testing? Now, players will be tested for performing enhancing drugs and masking agents. Unlike normal circumstances, there will be no testing for recreational drugs. Players have been advised by the league that marijuana is indeed illegal in Florida, and it is also banned at Disney World. How will the NBA players react to this?
Man, high, just high. Just there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can keep your time occupied. These are guys most of these guys are used to having very, very active social lives. So you telling me you keeping the talent away, and they're not gonna get to the ganja? Nah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
Right, Jeff. That's not gonna happen. The NBA did the right thing. They put out that those things won't be allowed, but they've already under the table said, look here, Disney. This is what we're dealing with. They only have so much they can do, which we'll talk about that later. So I need y'all to just look the other way if y'all see a little cloud of smoke over here in the corner. You know, we'll tell them not to do it in the room, not to mess up the hotel. But if they outside, you know, in a little area in the cut and you happen to see some smoke rising, just let it go because they're going to do it. And we're going to pay y'all well enough for y'all to turn y'all's eyes and close your eyes and blindfold yourself like you don't see this. So it's going to definitely be some marijuana smoke on those Disney premises for sure.
100%. Nothing else to talk about there. You guys nailed it. Jeff, let's kick this one straight to you. Now, the person that has been the most adamant and on the front line of saying the NBA should not come back and in turn should figure out a way to do other things to kind of keep the NBA season going. Kyrie Irving. Does Kyrie Irving have a point? The floor is yours, Jeff.
I think Kyrie gets a bad rap because it's Kyrie. He's a flat earther. He wears the Indian feather sometimes in his ear. So you don't really know where he's coming from or some of the things he said. However, if you really listen to what he was trying to say, I'm sure there are players who feel this way. Like, there are people who are looking at this like, this isn't a good idea. I don't want to be in this bubble being forced to do these things just to entertain people because they don't want to be sitting at home no more. And that's what we're doing. Like, the people who aren't NBA players, really pull yourself out of the situation and think about it. We're the ones that are being not necessarily spoiled, but we're the ones that are saying, we want entertainment, entertain us. We don't care about your livelihood. Entertain us, make us happy. Give me a game 7. That's why we want this back, because we miss basketball. But some of the players are like, bro, like, I want to live. I want to be healthy. We're seeing this stuff is still spiking. Like, and they talk about wave 2. No, this is still wave 1. We haven't got rid of wave 1. So, no, I don't. Again, I know it's Kyrie. I know it's Kyrie. But really listen to what he's saying, though.
I can see that, Jeff. I know what he was trying to say, like you said, but he said it wrong. But the main reason people are looking at him crazy for saying it and how he said it was because you had your chance to vote against this and you was all for it. You voted to go back and play in the bubble. Then once the NBA told him you won't be allowed to go because you're injured and you won't be playing, now you start to change your tune and say that I'm not with the systematic racism and the bullshit. Something smells fishy. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are targeted as black men every day and we need to wake up. Well, you didn't say that when it was time to vote if you guys would come back and play when you thought you were going to be allowed in the bubble. But now that you're not allowed in the bubble, now you don't want to get sick and we shouldn't go and do it. So that's my thing. Why did you originally vote for this? But now on the back end that you can't go, you're against it. What changed that made you want to do that?
The world changed, Coach. Between that vote and now, the world looks 180 degrees different. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like people are still like it's not front page news anymore because only so many times you can report the same thing. But protests are still happening. Breonna Taylor's murderers have still not been charged. Like there's still things going on. There's 3 people being lynched in California. Like we don't know. Like nothing has changed. You know what I'm saying? Like so he's looking at it like this is an opportunity for us to do something that brings more attention to more important things than scoring 2 points. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. As much as I love basketball and I want to see it and I want to see the season end, but I get Kyrie though.
Here's the thing about Kyrie Irving. He's currently out of action. He has a shoulder injury, right? Sure. So racial injustice, racism, if they stop playing tomorrow, right, and we, use this time to protest and do everything that we're currently doing within our power to eradicate racism, what about when the season starts again in December? We gonna dead the season again this year in 2020? We're gonna continue to do it then, or do you just quit? I'm just trying to figure out because the players that spoke out against Kyrie were asking him, okay, what's the plan? What are we gonna do? And the coalition was asking for donation to organizations serving Black communities and partnerships with Black-owned businesses. You can do that while you're playing the game, and you have a bigger platform to do so. The platform isn't as big when you're doing it, and how John Wall and Bradley Beal are doing things right now in DC, which is great, 100% great. But the world is watching us play basketball. Why not do it on the world stage and continue to do the same things that you can do while also doing that in front of the world? I just think it's very hard to do that if you don't have the push that the NBA is going to be everywhere. ESPN, ABC, TNT, NBA TV, wherever we can look at sports, that's going to be front and center, the NBA. You can get that thing done. Wow, you can do both. I'm just saying. I think you can do both. 100%.
Especially with the NBA, because the NBA is the league where they won't tell you can't wear that shirt. You can't warm up with that slogan on that shirt. We saw the NBA have the shirts and wear the shirts when we did this the last time. So it'd be different if this was Major League Baseball, the NFL, where they would say, you can't go out there with that shirt on. You can't do that. The NBA is the league that allows the players to express themselves. So with that, like Jay said, they can express that while still playing. Because that was going to be my point also. Because I understand what Kyrie is trying to say. I get it. But I don't think not playing as a whole is going to change anything at this point. I don't think them not playing these last few games is going to make a difference as far as what we're fighting for. I'm not saying that we should do anything or they shouldn't do anything. I just don't think not playing this end of the season is going to make or break what happens.
Fellas, let's move on to the next point. What is Kendrick Perkins doing, Coach Locke? What is he doing? What is he doing, man?
Talking out the side of his neck. Kendrick Perkins, man, I honestly think he's just talking to get attention because he wants to get on TV full time. You know, he's always on Get Up. He's on First Take. He makes his rounds on all these different shows. And, you know, he says some crazy things. Like he said, if you take Kyrie's brain and put it in a bird right now, guess what that bird's going to do? It's going to fly backwards because Kyrie right now is confused. Kyrie said he doesn't support going into Orlando. Perk said he only said that because he won't be allowed into bubbles, like I mentioned earlier. But Kendrick Perkins, he's all over the place sometimes. You know, sometimes he says good things and sometimes he says things. I'm like, what are you talking about, Perk? I don't think he should have said the things he said. State your opinion, let them know where you stand, and go from there. But don't just start talking crazy, saying all kind of crazy stuff because you have that platform to say crazy stuff.
Perk is a must follow on Twitter. Ever since he's been on ESPN, I've had the delight of following him on Twitter. He's been saying outlandish things for the past 2 seasons, and he's not stopping now. He's doubling down in the coronavirus. But Perk gotta chill. Like, we know that. Like, he just gotta chill. He's not helping the cause right now. That's all I'm saying. He's just not helping the cause. I'm gonna leave it at that.
And basically everything you guys said. Perk is rattling the cage because he wants to be a consistent person on TV. It happens. It happens to some of the best people. He's using this platform as much as he can to get the shine. And we're talking about Kendrick Perkins on our podcast. So in turn, it's working. He had some valid points. I'm sure he didn't come out with those valid points from people that weren't 100% telling him the truth. But you cannot throw a man under the bus like that. Can't call him bird brain. You can't do that. Not on national TV. Not when he has the same color as you. Not when you guys are both fighting for the exact same thing. You just can't do that. That's why Kevin Durant called him a sellout. You can't do that to your people. Not somebody that look like you. Not somebody that's fighting the same fight as you, dog. ESPN is the only winner of that feud. 100%. Nobody's winning for like that when you talking about another man like that. Nah, there's no place for that. And there's 100% of time and a place for that shit. And Kendrick Perkins, you use that platform to talk down about somebody that's fighting the same fight that you're fighting. That is not cool. And it's borderline sucker shit.
Call that man on the phone, man. You got his phone number. If
You
you don't have it, you
number.
can get it.
You can get his.
Call that man on the phone and discuss
100%.
that.
Let's move right along. Can the players create their own NBA? Jeff, I'll kick it to you.
I like how I got to start with the controversial one. Can they start one? Yeah, it'll look like the Rucker. It'll look like the ABA. Look like the Drew League. It will look like the Drew League. Very competitive, a lot of open one-on-one ball, ISO ball. You know, fun to watch for some, a skip for most. That's how it'll look.
Can they start one? Of course, like Jeff said, will they? No. It's too many things called contracts right now that's going to stop this. It's no way they're going to let them say, you know what, we're not going to play in the NBA. We're going to go over here, start playing games over here, not call it NBA, come up with another name. They're going to have to start paying all that money back because in them contracts, I'm sure they have all that protected. This is something that would have to be discussed now and planned for the future. But you can't just stop and say, you know what, we're going to make our own league and go from there. It doesn't work. It's not that easy for that to happen. You know, yes, we are the NBA. Black culture is NBA. Everybody knows that. It's dominated by the black male. We understand that. But you can't just up and say you're going to start your own league with nothing in plan. Nothing, no traction, nothing going on. That's something that takes years. And you have to make sure everybody's on the same page to do it, first of all. You can't have half of them saying, we're going to start our own league and then half of them not. Because like Jeff said, now you're going to go back to the NBA/ABA days for real. And now you start talking about segregation and things like that, separate. So we have to be on one accord all together and decide what we're going to do. If that's something that we want to do as a culture, fine. But we have to do it the correct way.
Can they do it? For sure. Will they do it? Some might. Aside from the challenges of like basically everything that you guys said, and also securing the venues, attracting fans, and the existence of the NBA would likely deter a lot of the world's best players from actually consider joining this air quote new league. Athletic careers are notoriously short, so you have to capitalize and get the most you can while you are still in your prime. The sort of superstars that would be needed to make this happen would be passing up tens, twenties, hundreds of millions of dollars in something that could be something that might not work, y'all. We've seen these leagues try to do it against the NFL time and time again, whether it was the coronavirus or a situation where the league just didn't work. It's very hard to go against the biggest professional sports league. It's very difficult to do. And I just don't think I think we would set back our people more starting a league than rather using this league to talk about stuff that we need done while playing in their league, 100%. We kind of already talked about what should the NBA players do to protest. Do you guys have anything specific that you want to talk about on that point? No? Okay.
Nothing specific. For me.
Yeah, for sure. I think we pretty much hit on that one. Coach Locke, what amenities will the players and coaches have?
Man, they're trying to do it the right way. They're trying to give them the best possible options to have. You know, they're basically going to have the hotel at their disposal. You know, they're going to have their players only lounge that'll include NBA 2K, TVs, gaming, the pool, trails, barbers, manicures, pedicures, 24-hour VIP concierge, daily entertainment, movie screenings, which they're saying that they could possibly have movies there before they are actually released in the theaters. They're going to have DJ sets, ping pong. You know, they give them the whole line. They land it out the best they can. Each team will have access to Disney, you know, where they can go to the different attractions at Disney. They're going to have their own culinary teams that can create individual team menus, which the players will get 3 meals per day and 4 meals per day on game days. And the players will be allowed to go to other games. So if they're not playing, they can go watch other games. So they're doing their best to try to keep them occupied and give them things to do, because at the end of the day, they're stuck in this bubble once they get there. It's not like you can just go out and go grab something to eat or go play miniature golf outside of the bubble. So it's going to be an adjustment, but the NBA is trying to do their best to make it where they'll be comfortable and have multiple things to do while they're there.
Is it enough, Coach? Or I can ask you, Jeff, since you spoke on it, Coach. Jeff, is this enough to keep players entertained for the next 3 to 4 months?
For your super cerebral players, I believe so. The players that really want to be there, like your LeBron James, who's you know, it's all about his legacy at this point. You know what I mean? He's going to be somebody I don't think is going to have a hard time focusing. But then you have players that don't have as much on the line right now. It's their second and third, maybe fourth year, and they got a career ahead of them as they think anyway. That it's not going to be as much as affected. You know, one thing that's going to be missing for a lot of these players is the opposite sex. You know what I mean? So that at some point is going to get. We got to be honest about it. We got to be real. It's going to get a little difficult for some to just be where they are.
So I realize, Jeff, man, that's what I was trying to get to. Listen, these guys are 19, 20, 21. You got some 30-year man. And listen, man, they're in their prime, man. They're in their prime, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Come on,
that's gonna be and a lot of them are single. Some of these guys aren't. Some of them are married.
Some of them are married, don't care.
And some are married, don't care. That's what I'm saying. So in turn, is that enough to keep you focused? Hell no. No, not at 20, not at 21. Maybe 35, 36s.
You see, I led with LeBron James, who's 30, about to be 36.
Come on,
focused
CP,
on his legacy.
Yeah.
CP,
yeah. But James Harden,
shaking it. He's having a hard time right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna be surprised if when this is over, we see some leaked footage of one of them kind of boat yacht parties that
man.
the
The Earl
teams is
Thomas
having.
situation.
You
Yeah, the
know,
Earl Thomas
don't be
kick party.
surprised if we
Yeah.
see something like that, because I'm sure Disney has their own lake where they can have a yacht put in there, and we know they gonna find a way. They
Yeah.
gonna find a way to get on that boat.
I ain't gonna
Oh,
get that ball.
and then real quick, did y'all read about how this is kind of how they're going to do home court with the different hotels being with different amenities, more uh, first class, I guess. That
Mm,
certain teams stay in certain hotels. Come on, man! Like
yeah.
they asking for trouble. You just
Yeah.
asking for trouble.
The main thing that what everybody's worried about is how they're going to be able to keep the COVID-19 virus from spreading throughout this bubble. And it's really not spelled out how they're going to do it in turn, as far as I'm sure they're going to do the protocol as far as taking temperature. But the cool thing that I saw was the aura ring that they're going to use for players that will notify players if they're within 6 feet of others that can potentially have COVID-19. And if you guys want to purchase this ring, it is available right now for $299. But other than that, I think what they're going to do is try the best way that they can and kind of prohibit a lot of handshakes and stuff like that, man. And of course, I think they're going to limit fans from being in the games for sure.
Yeah, they definitely won't be nobody at them games.
Yeah.
But I think once you get onto the bubble, I think they'll be fine,
Yep.
because they're not gonna let you on if you have a temperature or if they think you might have the symptoms. So once you get onto the bubble, it might be the safest place because they'll be 100% sure that nobody on the bubble has it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the things that they might have to worry about, which I'm sure they'll test those people too, are the people that's working on the bubble that works for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they going to have to stay on that bubble for that 3 months, if you're working, if you're in the concierge where you're taking the food or whatever, because they have 24-hour service. At any point in time, they can get whatever they want. So somebody has to be working. So how are they going to make sure those people are staying safe? Which they'll test them every time they come on and off the campus, I'm sure. But what if they test them, because we've known that some people have it, don't know it, and weren't showing symptoms? So what happens then? And then my question for my boy J Hove is, are you gonna purchase that ring, cuz?
Woo! Hey, coach, that ring. Hey, I need to see. I need to look at the Amazon review because I wear that one like a wedding ring. You hear me? I put that joint on. Hey, I need that. Beep, beep, beep. You get a little close, like, let me get the hell away from over here. Yes, sir.
That
Yeah.
was my next question. Is it gonna heat up? Is it gonna vibrate? Is it gonna
Probably send
ding?
a text message your phone. Hey, you close to one, cuz. You close, cuz. I might need that. That's a good investment. You feel me? But we won't hold you guys too much longer, but let's kind of go through like the sleeper teams to kind of win it all. Do you guys have a sleeper team that can win it all?
If the Clippers don't want to be there, from what I'm hearing, the Clippers are kind of back and forth about not want to be there. Of course, the Lakers are the favorite, but I'm sticking with Houston giving people problems. If they know, remember how they turned this around before Rudy Gobert saved the world. I really believe Houston can be a matchup problem for teams, especially if they're hitting their jumpers. If Russ doesn't shoot threes and plays point center and leaves it up to everybody else, they can be a matchup problem.
I'm gonna go with the Mavericks or the 76ers. The Mavericks, I believe they were the 6th seed when all this happened, maybe 7th, but I think they just got the 6th seed when all this happened and they had to postpone the season. You're gonna have players like Porzingis, who's probably gonna be healthy enough to play now. They were playing without him, so Luka was having to carry all the weight. So with him coming back from his injury, I could see the Mavericks making a push and giving people trouble, because beginning of the season, when they were healthy, they were giving everybody fits. You know, they were winning games, and then the injuries starting to happen, and they kind of started to lose the steam and drop down in the division. Same thing with the 76ers. Joel Embiid is going to be back healthy. Now, we know he's liable to get injured any point of time, though, which same thing can happen with Porzingis also, because he's known to be injured too. But if I had to go with sleepers, I'm going to go with the 76ers or the Dallas Mavericks.
The Lakers and the Bucks are clearly odd-on favorites to win it all. If we had to pick a sleeper, I think it is the Toronto Raptors, man. Pretty quietly, we're becoming one of the best teams in the NBA. They're 46-18, third best in the entire league. They won 15 in a row, 17 of 18, shortly before the season stopped. They had 5 players averaging at least 16 points a game. That is the definition of a team that doesn't depend on Giannis Antetokounmpo or Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to win games. Next man up, and they got a really good coach. I think Coach Nurse, man, is so underrated as a coach. He's just dealing with what he has. He lost Kawhi. What do? You still got a top 3 record in your conference. You replace Kawhi Leonard, man, with, come on, man, with Stanley Johnson. You start Norman Powell.
Don't do Pascal Siakam any kind of way though.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying they have 5 players averaging 16 a game. Man, they doing it the right way in Toronto. So if I had a sleeper team, of course, I have the Sixers winning it out. I got to stick with my guns. But they're back being 100% healthy. They weren't winning on the road. That was their problem. I only lost like 2 or 3 games at home, and they lost maybe 19, 20 games on the road. So that's the thing. You just got to worry about a team that doesn't depend on 1 or 2 people. And if I was picking a sleeper team, that's what we're talking about, give me the Toronto Raptors. All in all,
fellas, like you do me though.
What's that?
Hey, you want to talk about the safe pick? Safe pick.
Toronto is nobody's talking about Toronto because they was rolling. Have you heard one person?
So
have you heard one person?
They rolling. How's it sleeping if they rolling?
Bro, nobody. Have you heard anybody say something about Toronto?
Because they the 3rd seed.
Hell no, ain't nobody talking about Toronto. Hell no. When you brought up the Sixers what, 2 seed?
No.
What are they, 4?
They not even what? The Sixers?
No, Sixers are fourth seed.
Come on, man.
No, they're not. The Sixers are right now in 6th place. They were 39-26.
That's some bullshit.
Well, they had a lot of injuries this year.
The Raptors, man.
The Raptors were they the 2nd seed. They 46-18.
And let me tell you something. Since we talking about picks, the Mavericks ain't winning shit. They said Luka ain't worked out since. He ain't had no gym. He been in the south of France with no shirt on.
I said it's a sleeper. That's why it's a sleeper.
The Raptors, man.
Brody.
Man, right. That's a tough pick. What are the chances of this season going 100% to completion? What you guys got?
I got 65%.
I like that. I think they've done so much to get to this point. It's going to take something catastrophic to really blow it up. So I'm going to go with 70% they play.
I got 48%, man. I got a 48% chance that this thing goes on. I think we'll see times when some of the best players on each team have to set out because they're testing positive for coronavirus, which in turn is going to accumulate. We'll see things, and they're out 14 games or 14 days. It's going to be rough to bounce back from that. And all it's going to take is 2 of the superstars to go down with it, and the season is plugged. And I'm telling you, the NFL, I don't think the NFL makes it through the whole season, but we'll talk about that another day. I'm telling you, it's going to be too hard. The virus is just too contagious, man. Way too contagious of a virus. That was fun, fellas. Talked about a lot in the NBA. It was needed, lot with another safe pick, as usual. Jeff with a hot take like Kendrick Perkins, as usual.
Now Kendrick Perkins.
My boy had a sleeper as a number 2 seed.
It was a 3.
As usual.
They're number 2.
And a 3 seed.
They're the 2nd seed right now.
Who count? Weezy will be back, I guess. He set out this one because he didn't want to talk basketball. I get it. And that terrible pick of Steve Francis. Before we get out of here, we did talk about having votes for prototype didn't happen because nobody wanted to repick teams. So
we can repick. We can repick.
Well, let's repick right now.
Have me by any
Ball
night.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, there it is.
That's what I thought. Because I'm ready.
Let's go.
When you got a ball hand, who you got for ball
Tim
hand?
Hardaway.
That was my point. Go. All right, let me
See?
I'm gonna tell you. Nah, let me tell you. Give me 3 seconds. Hold on.
I got one in.
Now go ahead on lock. Kylie Watson.
Oh,
Tim Hardaway ball handler trash, bro. That one ass move. That one. That same
We
ass.
had the same player.
U-tip 2-step. Nah.
That's all I
oh
need.
shit.
Oh, Kylie Watson had to handle. Tweet us with the questions throughout the week at Full Sport Press. Don't forget to comment, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the YouTube page, on the iTunes page. Please rate and subscribe, but more importantly, don't forget to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
So lock.
Get a drummer song.
Jeff.
Camera's always on, brother.
So, man, the revolution will be podcasted. We are out.
Be looking for that shirt.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Thank you for listening to the Full Sport Press podcast. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend.